So clangdoc is a tool that I've been working on, and it is a new member of the Clang tooling infrastructure. It's designed to generate C and C++ documentation. So it takes your source code and extracts the data from the Clang parsed AST and source comments that you put in there and emits clean, readable API documentation. Now, you might ask, it is 2018, don't we already have that? And the answer is yes. You may have heard of Doxygen, which is the most widely used C++ API documentation generator out there. We use it in LLVM, so if you've ever looked at the online documentation for that, that's generated by Doxygen. It has a very specific, detailed syntax for your documentation comments, and it's fairly adaptable and configurable within that. But it's fairly complicated to set up, so there's a bit of an overhead there. It's an older code base, so it's harder to extend and keep up to date with sort of modern language features, and it also has a fairly non-permissive license, so it can't be used in certain places. Enter clangdoc. So clangdoc is a tool that's built on the Clang infrastructure and the libtooling infrastructure. It understands so Clang already has the ability to parse and understand Doxygen-style markup, so clangdoc does as well. It's designed to have a modular and extensible library framework, and thanks to a lot of the work that the guys over working on clang-d have done on the libtooling framework, it's scalable for large code bases. So brief overview of how the pipeline on it works. If we have sort of a basic, this is a very simple code snippet, we have a function definition and its declaration. So the clangdoc tool hooks into the AST parser on Clang, extracts information from it, and generates data about each one of these declarations. They're each associated with a hash ID that is associated with the element. So these two declarations have the same ID because they're the same sort of element. The tool then reduces those by ID, so each element in your project has one piece of information about it. And then we use that to generate your documentation in a specified format. So clangdoc is it's a fairly new tool, but it is pretty configurable at this point. Thanks to the libtooling sort of setup and baseline, it's based on the compile commands.json file, which is the same as clang-tidy, clang-d, those are those things that they work on. It's designed to be modular and extensible in terms of generation formats as well. So it has some output formats built in. So right now it has a YAML generator and a markdown generator, but you can bring your own. And the YAML generator also allows you to build external tools on top of it. There's flags for output configuration, input and internal and public APIs, and whether or not you want to just use Doxygen-style comments. In the future, like I said, it's still fairly new. I would love to expand some language support for it. Notably, it's missing template and typedef support right now, but want to get those in. It would be great if we could have a HTML generator as well, since that's sort of the claim to fame of the Doxygen tool, and we want to be able to sort of motivate that. There's sort of internal linkage and comment rendering expansion would be nice to have. So if this is interesting, I would encourage you to go take a look at it. Source code and documentation are up there, and thank you.